right, ladies and gentlemen. So I've got a fine gentleman that I've met here recently on the podcast today. So SAMIR BEYDOUN is joining us on the Properly Paid podcast. And the reason I want SAMIR to hop on this call is quickly since meeting him, not in person yet, but soon enough. I can tell this guy's got a strong mindset, a strong will behind him, and a tenacity that most people don't have. Okay. You can sniff it right out whenever people have that dog in them. And Samir's that guy. He's got the dog in him. And after talking to him one weekend, just asking him for some advice on what he's doing in the industry, I could tell that he had his head on straight and he had some businesses going on. He's obviously doing well for himself. And the whole point of this podcast is having people on here who are doing well, making money, so that the people who are watching can understand what's the mindset, what type of journey these people have taken, so that you can start to align yourself with that mindset, with that individual, so you can start to live that kind of lifestyle, right? Most kids growing up, going to college, using the normal 9-to-5 route, their parents never being successful themselves, they don't know how to make money. You don't just grow up learning how to get rich. So you got to meet the right type of people who can give you that knowledge. And Samir is that type of guy. So Samir, I just want to open up by saying, appreciate you jumping on, giving the people some wisdom. And I want to start back at the beginning of your story. Like, how did you get into, first of all, business for yourself? Because I know you're in business for yourself right now. How did you get into business? How did you grow up? What led you down that entrepreneur lifestyle where you're just hustling now you're just making money, you're focused on business?
Yeah, well, I thank you for the kind words, Priamo. I can say, the same thing about you and a lot of those aspects that you just brought up. But I mean, for me, I grew up in a working family. My mom worked, my dad worked. My dad worked jobs and always was trying to open businesses. So he'd always want to, follow that American dream. My dad's actually an immigrant here. So I have a lot of instilled cultural values, that push me, try to stay well-rounded, try to always stay family-oriented, things of that nature, because you do always need a balance. But I mean, for me, real quick, background, I was never really too good in school. I was like that bad kid in school who always wanted to fight, skip classes. None of the teachers liked me. So I dropped out of high school when I was about 15 years old. I was actually going to get kicked out of high school, but I said, you know what? Can I just drop out instead of getting kicked out? So I dropped out of high school. My dad was just like, he's very big on school because he never went to school. So he's like, you still got to get your GED. Got my GED. I went to college for about a year when I was like 16. It wasn't for me. I dropped out of college. And then I had a buddy of mine because at the time in Michigan, medical marijuana was like a new thing. He was growing medical marijuana. I kind of told him, I want to learn, what you're doing, because I seen that he was making a lot of money from it. Kind of learned from there. He opened up a dispensary. I started working with him in his dispensary. I later on opened up my own dispensary from that. I just didn't like the business anymore because a lot of things were starting to change, regulations wise between the state, city, just a whole bunch of stuff like that. So me and my dad opened up our dispensary. We got a good offer on it. We sold the dispensary, got a decent amount of money. I don't like to say disclose that amount, but it was good enough to set us up nice. But then I invested in a few grow ops, but I just didn't want to limit myself just there. I kind of still wanted somewhat of a career, somewhere I could wear a nice suit to, and I want to say at this time, this is like when Wolf of Wall Street came out, kind of. No, it's not when it came out. I think it was like a few years after, but I was watching Wolf of Wall Street one night, and I was like, damn, dude. I was like, kind of want to work at a place like this, So I would on Google one night. I was like, what's like the highest paid industry? What industry creates the most millionaires? And quick enough, I found out it was the financial services industry, so, life insurance industry. So, about a month later, I ended up getting my life insurance license. And then randomly, somehow, a buddy of mine, Ray, that I grew up with, he was working for American Income at the Zach Hart agency. So he told me, come on in, come to the overview. They were killing it, dude. So they brought me into this overview. And I never in a million years would think that people get paid like check wise like this. I just thought it was all bullshit, to be honest. So they bring us into this huddle. And back then they would hand out the checks and they would announce everybody's paycheck, So you get in there, dude, and they're going, it's just like the top 10. Like number 10 is like bonus check for $7,000. I remember Mark Dushai at the time. So Mark was, I believe, he was an MG at the time, but then he was about to be an owner. He partnered up with Zach later on. But at the time when I came in, Mark had his growth bonus check, and at the time, this was the largest growth bonus check in company history.
Right.
He got a check for $151,000. So they said. They said it was $151,000, right? And I
Right.
was like, that's fucking bullshit. I said, get the
Right.
fuck out. I said, bullshit. I don't this.
Right.
I was like, there's no fucking way this motherfucker just got one check for 150 grand. So
Right.
I dipped, and my boy Ray calls me. He's like, yo, where'd you go? I was like, yo, bro, I'm fucking straight, bro. You guys are on that bullshit. I'm not no fucking idiot.
Right.
He's like, what are you talking about? I was like, I want to talk to Dushai. I
So
said that
you
out loud.
left. You left the interview because you thought it was bullshit how much money he just made.
Yeah, I thought it was fake. I was like, there's no way. I was like,
Right.
dude, yeah.
Right.
I
You're
would
bullshit.
believe like the 10,000, the 15,000. Then when they got to like 100, I was like, get the fuck out of here, bro. I was like,
You guys are bullshitting me. Fuck
yeah.
you.
And I was like, I want to talk to Dushai. So I went to Dushai, and I was like, can I see that check? Like, can I actually see it? And I saw the check, and I was like, all right. I was like, I want to work here. I want to start working here. So first month in the business was great. You know, I wrote like 17,000. No, I think it was like 24,000 actually. My first month, second, third month, it wasn't so good. I don't know why I couldn't like click it. But
Real quick, how old were you at this time once you were right when you were getting into the business? You were at the Michigan office, right?
yeah, I believe I just turned 24. I just
Okay,
turned 24. So
gotcha.
it was 2000, end of 2019, December of 2019. And pretty much, dude, it was like the greatest thing ever. Because like in the marijuana business, medical marijuana business, it's like you sell a pound for, at the time I think it was like $3,000, and if you didn't grow the pound, you probably make a couple $100 on it, you know. So me selling a policy, I was like, I think I sold the policy, it was like $3,000. It was like my first policy that I sold, and I was like, yo, I got $1,500 on it. I was like, dude, this is just one sale. I'm making $1,500 in one sale. I'm making $1,000 in one sale, and then you're making multiple sales a day. So it's like, it was like, dude, this was like a gold mine to me. It was literally, I was like, so far fetched. I told all my friends about it. I tried to tell all my boys about it. They're all like, it's a fucking scam. Get the fuck out of there. It's a pyramid scheme. And you know, years that went on in the business, I did very successful for myself. There was a breakup with the Michigan offices, so that's kind of like when Zach and Mark had broke up. You know, they went their separate ways. I believe Zach retired. Mark went to another agency within American Income, and it was just kind of like a lot to deal with at the time because the culture wasn't there. So I left. I went away for a little bit. I had a little money saved away, so I wasn't like tripping about it. But when I left, I was like, you know what, fuck, man, I kind of miss this shit, bro. It's like, you know, it's like it just gives you like a drive. Yeah, you know. So I did go back for like 6 months under Mark. It just still wasn't the same. I went to a brokerage for a little bit, made some good money at the brokerage, and it wasn't the same. So one night, I think it was like probably like 1 or 2 o'clock in the fucking morning, and I was like, I seen Mike Vasu. Me and Mike, so mine and Mike's relationship is just a really weird relationship. I don't want to get off topic, but
No, you're good. Go for it.
so Mark, Mike, and Zach, they were always good friends, and me and Mike were just like Instagram friends. So he'd always see me post. You know, he'd compliment me, I'd compliment him. It was just going back and forth for years. So one day I'm just on Instagram when I'm scrolling through, and I'm like, I see Mike's thing, and I was like, you know what? Let me send Mike a fucking message. So I sent him a message. Hey, you know, hope everything's well, Mike. You know, I'm kind of interested in getting back into American Income life. I would love to work with you. You know, you're always an upstanding individual. You know, people talk about Mike from New
Up
York all the way to
northeast.
Hawaii. You know what I mean? Yeah, he's just a stand up guy, like stand up guy. And I didn't think he was gonna like reply, like at least not reply right away. Dude, I texted him at like 2 in the morning. He replied like at like 2:05, like quick, you know. And then yeah, that's kind of what brought me back this time around to the Vasu agency. And it was just, dude, it was because I don't want to say that like the agency I was at before wasn't, you know, because I don't want to take away from anybody, like they weren't unorganized or anything, but Mike was just so organized and had everything laid out. It was like so simple. Like if I had docs, for example, the stuff that he got laid out for us now, dude, I would have I would have been a millionaire 4 years ago, you know, off of this business. It's like it's insane.
That's why I always say about Mike, me and Jesse joke, we say he's the ultimate professional. Like, and that's what we talk about, being the ultimate professional. That's the type of guy I want to do business with. It's like he's crossing his T's and he's dotting all of his I's, every single one of them. And like you said, that level of organization is valuable to other people, because then guys like you and me can step in and say, okay, what's the play? What's the system? Great. Boom. Implement, make money instantly. Yeah. So now that you're back at the agency, right now, you've been cracking off, right, in 20, 30 grand net a month, right? What was your highest month since being back?
Since being back, like this time around, it's probably going to be this month. It's going to be like I should finish at 40, if not just a little bit under 40. And then next month, obviously, 100,000 is the plan.
100,000. So just so that people understand, in this industry, if you write 100,000 net, about how much would you make for the month? Give it, like, give or
I
take.
probably would make like 70 to 80,000, like, because once you go past 30, your bonus is way higher, and it's just you're getting like 70 to 80% of like the actual
Right.
ALP.
Which is sick. And that's why I try to tell people, it's like, listen, you can come in here, right, 100,000 net for being back for what, 3-4 months now, and you're going to make 80 grand in a month, and people will literally be excited to get a job that's paying them 80 grand a month, or 80 grand a year, excuse me.
Yeah,
Like, people are excited for that.
it's insane. And you know what's the funny thing is too is like now, and I'm a very hard worker. When I gotta get locked in, don't get me wrong, I get locked in. But like my 30 grand month and this month, dude, I have not worked like 9 to 9 how I'm supposed to work. I have not worked 12 hours a day. So I already know once I do put in the 12 hours a day, the 100,000 is gonna be inevitable. That's the good thing about working here is like you know what you're doing. Hey, you closed the sale or two today. You wrote a couple $1,000. Do whatever the fuck you want.
Right.
Whatever the fuck you want.
Exactly. And that's the point. It's like, if you get your
Mike,
shit done,
yeah, like Mike or Clayton don't call me and ask me what I'm doing. It's like, hey, I got my shit done. I got other shit to do.
exactly. And that's like people. And the funny thing is, people want that lifestyle. They think that sounds good. It's like, oh, nice, I can go somewhere, work, make a shit ton of money, and be on my own schedule. But for most people, be on your own schedule means don't work at all. It's like, guys, it doesn't work like that. You can't have a lazy mindset and then work your own schedule and expect to get results. Like, people, you got to work 9 to 9 so you can work 5 to 9. That's how it works.
Exactly. Like,
right.
You don't get away from a 9 to 5 to work 9 to 12. You know what I mean? Just because you have the opportunity to work less hours doesn't mean you should do so. You know what I mean? Like, my goals and accolades are different than other people. Everybody has their own different goals and accolades, but everybody wants to be a millionaire, but nobody wants to put in the fucking footwork. That's the thing.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
I'll
Yeah,
tell
you
you.
have it. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, I'll tell people right now, like, we're on a call right now doing this podcast it's 8 o'clock where I'm at, probably 10 o'clock where you're at, at night on a Sunday. And Samir and me are hopping on to talk about how we make money and what our mindset is, so we can show you how to make money. The fact that we're recording the podcast at this time in and of itself is proof of what we're talking about. Most other people are going to say, Priyamba, fuck you, podcast on a Sunday. Dude, I'm busy. I'm trying to hang out with my family. No, Samir said, yeah, hop on. Let's go. Let's do it. Because that's what it is. Like, for me, there is no Sunday, Saturday, Monday, Tuesday. That doesn't exist for me. Every day is a day and an opportunity to do something. Because I was talking to my mom yesterday. She texted me and she said, she just texted me before she was going into a movie. She's like, hey, I love you, miss you, etc. Because my mom's back home in Pittsburgh and I'm in Phoenix right now. And, just check in with her, tell her I love her, this, that, and the third. And my goals are what? Take care of my family. And after texting her just for a little bit, I was at the mall with a girl who's in town right now. And I instantly felt guilty. I was like, what am I doing right now? It's like, I got to get back. I got to go fucking work. I got to go hustle a little bit. I got to make some money. So that's what I did all Saturday long. Sunday, what do? Sure, I go out, get some brunch, come back. What am I doing the whole day? Setting up my one of my other businesses where I'm selling online programs. I'm doing the podcast here with you. It's like there's no downtime. What are you talking about downtime? You want to be a millionaire? What downtime is there? There is no downtime. Like, that's what people don't understand, is like, this shit doesn't exist, downtime.
I heard like a really good quote or saying where the guy was like, if you want to spend money without looking at your bank account, spend money like without looking at the price, you have to work without looking at the clock. And dude, last night, I was in Texas. It was Clayton's birthday. We hung out with him. Dude, I told myself, I'm like, yo, I'm going to be home by midnight. I got to wake up at 6 a.m. for my flight. Dude, these guys kept me up all night. I still didn't sleep. So I haven't slept since yesterday. Drove to the airport. Came home today. I had a couple sits. I ran them. We're on the podcast now. Like, dude, if you want to get something fucking done, it's gonna get done. You know what I mean? And the people's biggest thing, and don't get me wrong, dude. Like I wasn't always driven and disciplined and things like that. You know, a lot of that actually happened within the past year. You know, I've always made money, but I wasn't, you know, disciplined. You know, don't get me wrong. I make money one week and then I wouldn't work one week. You know, so me personally, you know, getting more religion and like getting more like intuitive with my religion, things like that, that kind of better rounded me. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not the perfect Muslim at the end of the day. I still sin, I still do things like that, but it did help me become more disciplined and well rounded because now when like, for example, if I want to pray in my head, I just say go do it. So now I take that same aspect and I put it into work. When something in your body is telling you, I don't feel like doing this, or don't do it, you just gotta fucking do it. Just go do it then, and then it's gonna build something in your head to make sure that you're okay doing shit that you're not okay with doing. You know what I mean? There's obviously something stopping you from doing that, and I think something stopping you, it's a bad thing that's stopping you. So
Correct.
proactively do it.
It's interesting you said the religion thing because that's something that I've felt with myself too, where I've become more religious and in turn have become more disciplined. And religion, people look at it for the wrong reasons. They look at it for the wrong reasons and they dislike it for the wrong reasons. What I've realized now as I gotten older is religion is an extrapolation of discipline because being religious is being disciplined, right? Religion is saying this is right and this is wrong. And because I believe in my faith and because I believe in God, I will not stray away from these stipulations, these parameters that I live within. And that's what religion is. So what I see happen a lot is the reason people aren't religious or they want to say that they're spiritual is because it's a cop out. It's, I want to believe in God, but I don't want to have any of the rules attached to it. Well, then what's the value in being religious? Then there's nothing meaningful about it because it doesn't mean anything. You're spiritual. You believe in something. Okay, well, what does something mean? Right? The reason that you love your father is because he would smack you when you did something wrong, because he would teach you when right was wrong. And but that's where the love comes from. That's the same thing with God. That's why God is typically shown as a masculine individual, is because God says this is right and this is wrong, and he teaches you and he punishes you for making a mistake, but he still loves you and he teaches you the right way to do things. So that's interesting because that's why I've seen with myself is the religion. The more I've become serious about praying every day, because I do every morning. I do. Jim Serace came on the one call. I don't know if you were on that call yet, but Jim Serace came on because Mike invited him on. He said one of the prayers he does every morning is he says he shows gratitude for what he's been given, but then he does ask for more from God. And then the third thing he does is he says, well, make me trustworthy enough to go ahead and handle the more blessings that I'm asking for. Right. And that's something that I've implemented every single morning. It's just that little piece of discipline that, like, that's what I do now. That's what I have to do. It helps with the rest of your day because you're forcefully doing something, even though it's good for you, but it's discipline. Right.
No, 100%. And I'm glad that, so there's two things that you said that I want to touch on. It's, you know, asking God for more. There's nothing wrong with that at the end of the day. You know, it's always not like, you got to think about this. There is people that are poor, there's people that are middle class, and there's people that are very well off. The people that are very well off, you got to think, why are they well off? Because God is giving them so they can give to others. So you get more. If you're not getting more, what you want, you have to give more. Give more to charity. You know, give more of your time to help somebody out. You know, it's little things like that that compound into better things. So you know, if you, even Mike always used to tell me, you know, you want more, you got to give more. You know, and that even if you take that just hand in hand in life, you know, if you want more of life, you want more of the business, give more of yourself to the business, give more to your craft. You know what I mean? You could take that in a different aspect. So a lot of the times when it comes to religion, it's like they go hand in hand with work. It's discipline, it's structure, it's doing the right thing, moving with good noble intention. And I'm so glad you brought up that spiritual thing because those spiritual people, they're such a fucking crock of shit, and I fucking hate them with a passion. Like they know that there's a God out there, but guess what? They just have some like fucked up delusion in their head that I believe in a higher power. I just don't believe in anything. I don't have any rules. I have no codes. So if you ain't got no codes and you have no rules, what the fuck do you stand for? What are your values? You know what I mean? You have to fear. I fear God every day. At the end of the day, I know where my heart stands. I know that God is good. God's always with me. And I know that there's rules that I have to obey by. If I don't obey by those rules, there's consequences. And that's just like any aspect of your life. So those spiritual people, they're such fucking bullshitters. Like, do you not think there's any consequences for your action? Those are the type of people that when they're in a debate and they have no response in the debate, they're just gonna scream and like try to be like really loud, or they're gonna just walk away. So you have to have morals. You have to stand for something.
Yeah, and that's why I respect people. It doesn't even matter if I necessarily disagree on a point or two, but I respect men who, like you said, you stand by your morals. That's why I respect. I'm glad you said Muslim, because I've been super interested in the Muslim religion as of recent, because I love how strict it is, and that matches my personality. It's very clear cut, like yes and no, very clear cut. And Muslims respect their religion incredibly. Like a lot of people in the West, especially with my own religion. So I grew up Catholic, right? So Catholic's a little bit better than others, but there's a lot of people who claim that they're Christian or Catholic, but they don't defend the religion at all, and they don't actually take it seriously. It's like, yeah, I'm, like you said, religious, but I don't really follow any of the rules. Well, then what the fuck does it matter then? It doesn't mean anything then. And but that's why I respect that religion. I respect the men in that religion, because you guys take it super serious to uphold the standards. There's no gray area. And correct me if I'm wrong, right? Because obviously you're Muslim. Yeah, it's not. There's no gray area. It's correct, incorrect. You make the choice. Like you know what it is, and I love that, because that's how life should be. Like especially with how I see parents are nowadays too, is they want to give so much leeway, and they want to make things so open and like debate and talk with the kids. Well, okay, I want to negotiate with you. No, you can't. There is no negotiation. You have to decide what the line is, and you hold that line. But what they want to do in society, and what they're doing to men, especially in the United States, is they're eroding that line of decency, and they're continuing to push it back and 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 back. And I won't do that shit. That's why I say what I say, and this is the way that I live. The way that I live. I'm not going to bend for somebody else. If I believe something to be correct, I'm going to live that way. I don't give a fuck. Like I don't care, because this is what I believe to be correct. And if in my heart I know that this is the right decision, I'm going to live and die by that, because I believe it's the right thing to do.
And that's what makes you a lion, compared to a sheep. At the end of the day, it's like, dude, just like for an example, like nowadays, it's not like the 70s, it's not like the 80s. If you're just a bit of a fucking savage and you have some good discipline and you got a good head on your shoulders, you will run through these fucking guys. It's not like before where because right now, and I don't want to get like biblical or like religious or anything, but it's in all of our holy books. I mean, I read the Bible, I read the Torah, I read the Quran, and all of our end of times are the same. They're trying to make men into women and women into men, and you can see it now. Men are fucking bitches, dude. They are like, dude, you're not even a man. You should be castrated, like literally. Stand your ground, go out and fucking work, pay the fucking bills. That's it. Don't get a girl that's gonna fucking walk all over you, go your future, dude. As a man, you can rebuild yourself overnight. As a woman, it's a little harder to, you know what I mean? And a lot of the things like with media and social media and the TV and everything like that, they're making it nowadays seem like, okay, it's okay. And I don't, sorry if I'm not politically correct here. It's okay to be a whore and it's okay to be a pussy as a man. No, it's not. It's not okay. Like literally, if nowadays too is like, dude, America in the 80s, in the 70s, this was a real end. Let somebody in America walk around with a shirt that says Jesus is gay on it. They would get the living shit beaten out of them. Nowadays, it's just so common. Go to a country in the Middle East. They're not Catholic, but I guarantee you nobody will wear that motherfucking shirt because they have respect for other religions. So the respect thing nowadays is so big to me because nobody has respect or morals, and it goes back to that saying like that one guy's like my dad drove a Benz, I drove a Ferrari. It's about the cycle of life, just showing you that if you give your kids too much, if you don't have rules, if you don't have discipline, the generation of wealth is not going to keep going. It's me personally. when I do have kids, and I even try to solicit my nephews, I'll give my nephews whatever the fuck they want. But I do let them know, hey, it's not easy. Like this is, I'm gonna give you this, okay? But this is what you got to do for me. You have to get an A in your math class. You have to clean up the house for your mom. Then you can get it. Because I'm not just gonna give them something without action. Yeah, you gotta let them know, hey, you're a man, and you definitely, as kids nowadays, you gotta let them know you're a fucking man, and this is what men do. Men make actions, and they get paid for their actions. That's it. It's a lot easier as a girl nowadays. I hate to say it, but as a man, you're valued by your morals and by your success. That's all it is now.
Correct. And it's still that way, and they're trying to take that away from men, and that's what's fucking them up. And then these
Exactly.
girls wonder why they can't ever find a guy to stay with because you've all pussyfied them. Because and so this is how I liken it to. They've made the household so feminine that you can't even create strong men anymore, right?
You're gonna be called misogynist.
Yeah, exactly. Correct. But that's genuinely what's happening. So my father said something that was incredible to me just recently. It was 1 or 2 months ago. We were talking on the phone, and he was saying how at the school where I grew up at, I have younger brothers that are still in high school. And he was telling me a story about how one of the friends that my brother had wanted to start being called a chick's name, right? And so, dude, I was already like, okay, where the fuck is this going?
Yeah.
And so my dad, he said, yeah, they want to start calling him this. That's what the kid wanted to be called.
How old
And he
is
said that he's 16 or 17. Fucked up.
Yeah.
And so it's fucked up. And so my dad goes, yeah, the father, I spoke to the father, and the father didn't really know what to do, but he was going along with it. And I said immediately to my father, I said, if that ever fucking happens to my 2 younger brothers, I said, I will not allow that shit. And I'm not even their father. I'm saying this to my father. I said, the fact that man has a child like that and is not willing to say no, that's not how it's going to be, and is
That's
going
why
with
it's
it.
like that. That's why.
That's why it's like that. Correct. Because they feminize the household too much. So what's the feminine trait in the house and with a mother? It's to care, to give love, to comfort, That's a woman's job. And what has happened is they've made it too feminine that now the entire household is giving comfort. So without that masculine father actually setting the fucking line and disciplining the children, they've created sexless, undisciplined, unmotivated young men because they didn't get the parenting from the father that they needed to become a real adult. Everything was, like you said, give, comfort, protect. This is why people are living in their parents' houses till they're 30 years old now. Because
Exactly.
all it is the protect, comfort. The man is not stepping in and saying, no, get the fuck out of my house, guy. Go make some money, take care of your mother instead of your mother taking care of you.
When I was your age, I had 3 fucking kids, type of shit.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that you brought that up because, like, dude, I remember growing up, I used to think my dad was so fucking mean. I was like, I mean, he wasn't mean though. You know what I mean? Like, fucking. But he would buy my sister whatever she wants, like no questions asked, and like I couldn't even get like a fucking one. You know what I mean? So I used to think he was so fucking mean, dude. And then like I got to like 17, 18, and I was like, yeah, my dad's cool. And then I got to like 21, 22. I'm like, dude, all my friends that I fucking grew up with, they're either crackheads or they're doing some stuff. Like, dude, thank God my dad was fucking the way he was. You know what I mean? You don't understand that till you really get older, and that's why when your parents tell you, you'll understand when you're older. You know what I mean? It's that thing. Nowadays, it's like parents. I feel like they're so scared that they're gonna lose their kids if they discipline them. But it's because you set that fucking thing into them when they were so young that they can do whatever they want. You know what I mean? Dude, the kid's 16 years old. When I was 16 years old, did you not hear what I was just doing? I was fucking getting in fights and I dropped out of fucking high school. Do you think I had my mind right when I was 16 years old? Nobody has their mind right. So for a child, because he's 16, he's a fucking child, to change their gender and their father to be okay with it, I would say, you know what, Priamo, maybe you feel this way and maybe you want to be gay, you know, I don't want you to be gay. Like my kid's not going to be gay. I'll tell you that right now. But anyways, I would, if my kid was like that and he came to me, I would say it like this, maybe you're just feeling this way because you're a little confused, but we're not going to do anything now. When you're 18 years old, you can make that decision for yourself. But right now, I think you should go seek therapy. I'm going to go see a therapist and go find out what the fucking real problem is. Because They don't want to be guys and girls, man. They're just fucking confused. That's it. They're just confused kids.
Exactly. Correct. And I've had the same thought before because whenever he told me about this kid, I really sat down and did something that most people don't do nowadays and actually think and analyze the situation. Okay, but why does this kid feel this way? And here's why I was thinking about it so hard. I went to the same high school that my two younger brothers are at 8-10 years prior, and this wasn't even a thing. It was not a discussion. There was no people changing. There was no different names. It's the same high school that I went to 10, all new. And here's why. Because, and I tried explaining this to my two younger brothers once I found out that this was happening. I went back home like a month later and I talked to them and I tried to ask them questions and see how they thought. Because I'm like, okay, they're polluting their minds in school. I need to find out what they believe. And so what I was saying to them, I said, listen, it's not that they want to be a boy or a girl, or they think that they're a girl when they're a boy, etc. It's that they don't have an identity right now. Number one, because society is blurring the lines so much that there isn't an identity. It's okay to teach a woman to be, or to teach a girl to be feminine. It's okay to teach a young boy to be masculine, so they understand what their identity is. But now they don't have an identity. They're confused. They're young. Their hormones are going crazy. They don't know what the fuck's going on. But because it's put into their head that people are changing sexes and people are changing their genders, then that's what they adopt. They're like, okay, yeah, that's what it is.
And they got these fucking teachers now that are pushing this agenda. You know what I mean? Like, it's so funny because everybody was asking me, like, when I went to Texas, like, dude, when are you gonna move here? I would love to live in Texas. I would love to. I love to live in Scottsdale. It's beautiful weather. But I'll tell you why I will never move. So I live in the city's called Dearborn. It's right outside of Detroit. I will never move the fuck out of Dearborn, and I'll tell you why. It's, if you look it up on Google, we are one of the largest Arab populated communities in all of America. So the public schools here, you know, it's I hate this. I like, it's true, but they have better values than fucking most public schools, and they're not going to push that agenda, dude. They, I think, like a year ago, because this is when the agenda really started getting pushed, especially when Biden went into office. But a year ago, they wanted to put a book. It was like 3 or 4 books in the elementary school, and one was like, it's one of the books, I forgot the name, but it was like about a guy touching his boy cousin at nighttime when they had a fucking sleepover, like having gay sex with his cousin, and it's a 5-year-old fucking book. When I tell you there was a fucking riot at the school and the fucking parents were protesting that these books get taken down, that's why I stay here. Because it's like, dude, if I have kids, they're going to be raised in this culture. I don't have to worry about this brainwashed TikTok shit. They're going to know their culture. They're going to know their agenda. They're going to know their role. As a man, you're masculine. You be a fucking man. You get to work. You get your shit done. As a woman, you're a princess. You know, men take care of you. You do this. You be a good mother. You be a good nurturer. These are your roles. This is what God puts you on earth to do. Simple as that.
Correct. And that's a great reason to stay there, because that's how they've polluted the minds of these kids so much and are changing the values in these kids that are growing up, is because the schools are pushing this agenda onto them, but then the community around the schools, around the town, are not set on what their values and beliefs are. And they're allowing that to happen. Like you said, they couldn't push that shit in your town because everybody's on the same page where you live. Everybody has the same morals. Everybody has the same beliefs. We understand where the line is. They cross that line. We're going to band together and say, fuck you, get that shit out of our school. That's why that's why they divide the country so much and divide the people with politics and divide the people with beliefs and this, that, and the third, is to keep everybody separated. Because if everybody's separated, nobody can band together and have some type of movement, and they control the population. It's very simple. Yeah, dude, that's good.
This country's just going to fucking absolute shit, and it's horrible because honestly, bro, this country could be so fucking great. It could literally
So
be so
great.
great, and it was so great. You know why can't it be great again? It's because they're pushing this fucking bullshit agenda. They're dividing the country. They're fucking. Don't get me started with what's going on in the Middle East and Ukraine. You know what I mean? Spending our fucking money for this stupid shit when they really
War.
should be invested in education so kids know their fucking roles and we can build a better future for the fucking kids. You know what I mean? I don't make all this money to give it to you motherfuckers to spend it how you're spending. You know what I mean? And America just needs to get back to our core values of what America was.
America was founded on fucking religion. In God we trust.
Yep, it's literally the first thing in our Declaration of Independence.
So, if it made such a fantastic country for those hundreds of years while God was intertwined into the government and into the core value and beliefs of the civilization. I mean, it was the Quakers that came over from England that came to the US, a religious group. And then now that we've removed God, we've bastardized the entire gender roles, et cetera, et cetera. And then you wonder why the country's going into chaos. You said this country was great and could be great again. Why did our families immigrate to this fucking country? My grandparents, yeah, they came from Italy. Why? For opportunity. My mother moved from Venezuela to the US. Why? For opportunity. Your parents, which I want to actually touch on real quick, you said immigrated to the US. Why? For opportunity, because this is the best fucking country in the world. You can get rich in America. Look at us, right? So tell me, so where's your family originally from? Where did they immigrate from?
So my dad's Lebanese. He came here when he was like 17. My mom is Jordanian. She was born here, but my grandparents, not my grandparents, my grandfather, God rest his soul, he immigrated here. Her mom was born here. But like the Lebanese culture is very strong on like, men work, women don't. You know what I mean? Hey, fine, whatever. My wife wants to work. She can work if she wants, but she doesn't have to. You know what I mean? We're more about like building the family, building a tighter knit, circle. It's dude. It's just like, I mean, a lot of cultures, Italian, uh, Latinos, like Mike, he's Romanian. We're very tight knit with our families. You know what I mean? So like, you having a tight knit family too, it's also gonna motivate you because like they're gonna call you out on your bullshit too. It's like to kind of like keep you like my dad's like my best friend, dude. I could tell my dad anything. I go to him for advice. Hey, what do you think about this? He always tell me, you know what's best, but I think one, two, three, and I always go follow his gut. You know what I mean? So I'm glad that I have that relationship with my dad, and I'm glad that we have like a tight knit culture. Because, dude, shit, if I was born into another family, you never know. You might be talking to Samira right now instead of Samira.
You might have some fucking locks hanging down. But yeah, the family is so important, and that's such a good value that these foreign cultures have because, like you said, my family comes over here from another country, and my mother was an engineer. She went to college, was an engineer, super intelligent, super successful, especially for a woman in a Latino country like Venezuela. Latino countries are very masculine, very patriarchal, and my mother, she has me. I'm the oldest son, so obviously, first of all, I'm the one who has to take over the family, which I pretty much have over the last year or so. Which is why it's so important to become successful, so you can feel that, to have that responsibility for your family. But she quit her job as soon as she had me, right? And I remember growing up being upset at her, and I so regret it now because my family didn't have money growing up. Like my father made enough; he was an engineer too, made enough. Listen, don't get me wrong, I wasn't poor, but it was always paycheck to paycheck. And I wasn't able to do the things that I saw my friends around me being able to do with parents who had two people working. So double income, they were just able to do more. And as a kid, I didn't understand why could they do things that I couldn't do. And I was upset at my mother because she didn't work at the time. And now I understand, and I'm so thankful that she didn't growing up because she actually raised me and my three siblings herself and created good kids, a good family, a good lifestyle at the home where you can feel safe, you can go home, you can be with your family, everybody's loving, everybody's together. Like that's invaluable. And these women who are so excited to go work and throw the motherhood out the door without even thinking about it. Like you said, you can work if you want to, but as a man, I'm going to put you in a position where you don't have to. And if it's affecting the children and taking care of the children, then we're not working. You're not. Like,
And trust me, bro, no fucking girl wants to work because I'll tell you right now, I don't fucking want to work.
right.
I had a sugar mama that's making $5 million a year. Yeah, Smear's not fucking working. Sorry.
Right. Like we don't even want to work. We do it because we fucking have to. So why would you want to work?
And you know what's funny? I seen it. I don't want to get off topic, but I literally seen that's more important too. You can't put money on having like a mother at home. There's nothing like that. But like I seen there's like one of those TikToks, where they ask a guy and girl, like, would you rather have a high paying job and a shitty title? Like, would you rather be a plumber that makes $100,000 a year, or would you rather be a CEO that makes $0 a year? And you ask all the guys, they all said, give me the 100,000. I'll clean up shit. You ask all the girls, they're like, yeah, I'll be a CEO and take $0. So, like, just me thinking about that, like, how the fuck does that make sense? What's the point of being a CEO if you're making $0? You know, and it's so mind boggling to me. I mean, I'll never understand how some women think. You know, I love women; they're the most amazing creatures in the world. But um, just just be feminine, get your nails done, go shopping. You know, you guys don't have to be in the work environment. You know, that's what I.
Exactly. I agree, because it does masculinize the women to go through that stress and bullshit, and then they bring that home too, just like a man would. Like, it's now double the stress, double the headaches,
You should
and
be the nurturer.
right. Correct. Yes, exactly. You got to be the energy that calms everything down. You can't be coming into the house fucking fired up, testosterone, ready to go to fucking war. Two people. But yeah, and that's what's fucking it up is people want, they don't understand that there's a reason that society evolved the way that it did for the past 1,000, 2,000 years. And we don't just want to all of a sudden change that. Like, humans haven't changed like that biologically. We're the same as we were 1,000 years ago, essentially. So why are we going to try to do this thing where we want to make everybody the same and go have to do the same things and expect everything to operate normally? Like, you're taking away from the home, you're taking away from the next generation. And you look at countries like Russia, you look at the countries in the Eastern Europe, the Middle East, that aren't adopting these principles, these new age principles. Guess what they're doing? They're becoming more competitive. They're getting ahead of us. In Russia, there's schools where they spend the first hour of school boxing and sparring, high school. And when we're doing what? We're having an hour class about sex change. How do you expect to be competitive? And this is how small people's minds are, is they don't understand that the globe in and of itself is a competition. Every country is trying to take over the fucking world, whether you want to believe that or not. Russia fully intends on having territory, having power. China fully intends on having territory, having power, because people want money, people want power. That's the reality of life. People in the US don't understand that what we're doing within the United States is going to make us topple out of power and get completely decimated by these other countries that are not adopting these beliefs. But people, again, they're so brainwashed and so ignorant to what's actually happening in the real world that they don't understand these other countries are just coming to take over. That's not a good thing.
You can't have a weak president, and that's what we have right now. And I hate to say it, I never like, dude, I never talk bad about any fucking president. I never have. I was never a fan of Bush. I never talked bad about Bush. But dude, we have a fucking weak president who doesn't know what day of the week it is.
It's
What did
embarrassing.
what did you expect was gonna fucking happen? Like, literally, we're getting walked on right now. And
It's
I'm telling you,
embarrassing.
like, this election is literally gonna make or break this country. Because, dude, think about it. Your parents immigrated here, or you know, for the
Yeah, my
most part.
parents, yeah.
Yeah, my family immigrated here. Everybody who came to America, why do they come here? Because the American dream. Now, what's happening now? People aren't coming here. They're fucking leaving here. They're moving to Dubai. They're moving to fucking here, there. When the fuck did people ever leave this country? This was the land of freedom. This is the land of opportunity. Now they're all leaving. Is that? It's kind of, if that doesn't click in your head about something, you know what I mean. It just should tell you a lot. You know what's going on.
It's funny you said move to Dubai. That is exactly what I told my parents. I told my parents within the next 10 years we're moving to Dubai or somewhere in the Middle East. That's where I want to go. Why? I'm not even and like right now I'm not even Muslim, but why do I want to go to the Middle East? Because I love that culture. Like, I love what's going on out there in the sense that there's parameters. There's a certain belief system that I can get behind, and I know people are going to abide by that. So I understand that my children are going to be safe in a society like that. I understand that my family's going to
You
be.
don't even have to be Muslim too. They have churches there. You know what I mean? It's dude. It's no different than here. The only difference is there's no fucking crime. You can you can leave your Louis Vuitton bag on the floor, middle of the floor, go fucking somewhere, come back 10 hours later. Your Louis Vuitton bag's still gonna be there and not touched. You know what I mean? There's no interest on anything. It's like they are giving people a reason to go there. You don't want to believe in this Western, these modern day, because it wasn't like this before. So these modern day Western bullshit theories. Stay in America. You want to. It's kind of like Dubai is the new land of opportunity. To be all honest, in all honesty.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying is like, you're correct. It's like, why did my parents immigrate to this country for opportunity? And now their son, already one generation removed, is saying, hey, we're actually going to move to Dubai. I told my family that. I said, listen, that's what's happening. I said, within the next 10 years, I told my mother this, and this is one other topic we can touch upon before we wrap this up is men nowadays also are depressed and anxious because they don't have responsibility in their life and they don't understand that. Men try to avoid, and again, everyone's becoming more feminine. They're trying to avoid responsibility and avoid doing difficult things. And when in reality, as a man, that's the only thing that gives you value is taking on responsibility, taking away stress from others. And so the reason I bring that up is like, I'm telling my parents, I'm the man now. Like, that's just what it is. I make the money. I'm taking care mentally. I'm the strongest. I understand the direction this family needs to go in. I'm telling my mother, I'm like, hey, listen, just so you know, like, we're going to move. The whole family's moving and we're going to go here. And my mother's just like, yeah, okay. Because they trust me, because they know who I am. And that's what every man should strive to be. Like, you want your family to look at you and trust you with any decision that you're about to make.
Exactly, because every family is gonna have, I'm sure you heard that speech, the one. If you meet somebody, if you meet a family that's wealthy at one point in time, they weren't wealthy. Then the one comes along. So like in your family, you're the one. In my family, I'm the fucking one. And we're the one that breaks that cycle. So that's why they're trusting of us, is like, because we got this far and we kept our heads on fucking straight. We did what we were supposed to do, and dude, as a man, and I don't want to touch too much on this, but as a man, if you look at me a few years ago, dude, Samir's chasing girls. Samir just wanted to get married. He was so worried about having the good girl and starting a family. Dude, the moment that I forgot about that shit and I put my fucking head down and worked, all the good girls started coming along. They attracted to me, So like, as a man, you have to be stoic, And what do I mean by being stoic is like, you can't let your emotions show. You can't be depressed. You can't be sad. You can't be crying like a little fucking bitch all the time. As a man, you're like, you can't have feelings. I'm sorry to say, you cannot have feelings. So if I wake up one day and I feel like shit, if I feel sad, or if I just got my heart broken, am I gonna sit in bed and fucking whine about it and be a bitch? No, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna distract myself. I'm gonna get to work. I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna fucking do something to forget about it. Because dude, if you feel bad, are you going to be the only person in the world that feels bad for yourself? Nobody cares. There's 8 billion people in the world. You're going to be the only fucking person that cares. So you have to be stoic with your emotions. You know what I mean? Especially if you want to be the one in your family. I'm sure you don't display your problems to your mom, or your dad. You keep them to yourself, because why? Why are you going to put that stress and burden on them if you're already dealing with it and you know that you can figure it the fuck out?
Correct. That's so true. And again, this is why people like Samir driving around Rolls Royce Ghost, taking care of his nephews, taking care of his family, because he understands that that's the role. That's what gives him a purpose every single day. And and that's why I want to teach these young guys, especially, is listen, you are supposed to suffer. Like, that's the whole fucking point. You are supposed to suffer. It's supposed to suck. But the sooner that you accept that, and the sooner that you go for it all in, all of a sudden you feel better about yourself. All of a sudden you have a sense of pride. All of a sudden now you're like, I'm a fucking superhero. I can do anything. For the last 3 years of my life, at least, there has genuinely not been one thing that's come across me and I've said, I don't think I can deal with that. I don't think I can handle that. I literally feel like a superhero and it's come true. Every issue I've ever dealt with since I've made that decision to become, I'm the one for my family, I've handled everything, and everything that I said I was going to do has happened. It's like it's magic. And this is what I'm saying right now with the Ferrari. I always joke with people, not joke. I'm serious. I'm like, listen, I literally have been saying since the end of 2023, I have it on my sticky note right here. I don't know if it's going to zoom in on the camera, but yeah, 812 super fast by the end of 2024. I just say it because I'm so used to doing the shit that I say that I'm going to do. Boom. We become what we think about. Exactly.
So I read this every day. I got my list of goals written out. I read it every day.
Every day. You see that? So people at home listening, say, like, I've become so good at doing the things that I say that I'm going to do. Like I said, it's like magic now. I say I'm going to do something. It happens. Just the other day, last Saturday or 2 Saturdays ago, when I talked to Samir, I just finished test driving the 812. It's 359,000. They already sent me the number. I know how much down I have to put, et cetera. I'm going to buy in the next month or two. Like, that's just what happens when you do shit that you say that you're going to do and you don't fucking cry about it. Again, like Samir said, I don't wake up every single day like, fuck yeah, I can't wait to literally have to take care of my whole family and get rich and do this and that and do all. No, every day I wake up. Sometimes I'm like fired up. Sometimes I'm a little bit fucking pissed off. Sometimes I'm a little bit demotivated. But 10, 15 minutes go by. I'm already 2, 4 espresso shots deep, and I'm going to fucking war on fire because I understand that I'm the motherfucker who has to do this shit. My family's not going to do it for me. I have to save them. It's a different fucking level of.
It goes back to that saying when it's like I think Dan Pena said, he goes, "If you think life's a fucking journey, you're a fucking moron. You're retarded. Do you think life's a journey for the fucking Trump kids? No, it's a fucking process that was taught to them by his daddy, and it's a fucking process that keeps going on. You know what I mean? And money's not everything. Don't get me wrong, but if you think money cannot buy happiness, you do not know where to fucking shop. You can go get money and save the villages in Africa. You can go get money, save the poor. You can go, but without money, you can't do a motherfucking thing. And it all comes back down to that.
Everything. Exactly. Money is merely a tool. How you decide to use that is up to the person. If you're going to use it for good, then you better get some fucking money and use it for good. Like, that's the only way that you can move the world as a man. Like you said, it's your value as a man is going to come from how you build yourself up. You want to build yourself up. You want to be that fucking guy. You can go ahead and do that. Is it going to suck? For sure. But guess what? When you get done doing it, like Samir said, the girls are going to come to you. The family's going to trust you. People are going to respect you. You're going to feel like that fucking dude. And it's the best feeling that you can have.